Yeah. Oh yeah, come. We live. All right.
All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
This one's going to be about praise to Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. The vows be unto the apostle of great millstone, fellowship of the Spirit, peace and much love and salutation to Israel, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, y'all kids in according to the Bible. I talk you guys to see your 2021 here, new year, his day to come, Lord Yahweh Shai. All right, and this video's, going to be on the holy scattered people, because our people are scattered across the four corners of the earth. And in these last days, we're going to gather all the people, all our people that have been scattered amongst the nations and scattered amongst these other looking people. And they're all going to look like different nations and different people and speaking different languages, right? We're not all going to look just like Negroes, which you'll call a particular Israelite. We're all going to come looking different, That's it.
I'm gonna go on this quick scripture right quick. This is Deuteronomy. This is Deuteronomy, chapter 4. It's a lot. This is Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 26. No, 25. When thou shalt beget children and children's children, and ye shall have remained long in the land, and shall corrupt yourselves and make a graven image or the likeness of anything, and shall do evil in the sight of the Lord Yahweh, thy power to provoke him to anger, I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day, that ye shall soon utterly perish from off the land whereunto ye go over Jordan to possess it. Ye shall not prolong your days upon it, but shall utterly be destroyed. And the Lord power Yahweh shall scatter you among the nations, and ye shall be left few in number among the heathen, whither the Lord shall lead you. Okay. And 28. And there ye shall serve gods, the work of man's hands, wood and stone, which neither see, nor hear, nor eat, nor smell. But if from thence thou shalt seek the Lord thy power, thou shalt find him, if thou seek him with all thy heart and with all thy soul. Okay.
Right. Ezekiel 22:15. And I will scatter them among the heathen and disperse them in the countries, and I will consume the and I will consume filthiness out of thee. I will scatter thee among the heathen and disperse thee in the countries. So the Most High says, scatter us among the heathen and disperse us in the countries. Different countries, and where our people are scattered all over the world. So you're going to have Israelites looking like these different people, but they're still Israelites.
Ammon.
Ammon, Moab, Esau. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So this is why we say you can't. There's no such thing as being the only black Israelite.
That's right.
Or being the only Negro Israelite. Because our people look like different nations. We have been scattered amongst the four corners of the earth. And you're not gonna. Every Israelite ain't gonna look like a so-called Negro. or what you want to call the Israelite today. And it ain't all about the tribe of Judah.
Right. Right.
It's about the whole nation.
Whole nation.
It's about the Mexicans, the Latinos, the Puerto Ricans,
Right.
all right? Native American Indians, the Seminole Indians, okay? It's about the Cubans, because we all make up a whole nation of people,
right.
You know, and we'll all be scattered, you know? And that's what the Most High is coming for the nation of Israel, the elect of those nations. And you better believe there's 144,000 of those men of each of those ethnicities, all right, that there are in these different lands that aren't here in the land of America. Because it's also going to be deliverance around the whole world. See, the Most High is now the main deliverance is going to come from America, from the tribe of Judah, you know, Issachar, Ephraim. But for the other tribes, the Cubans, the Dominicans, you know, they're out in these other foreign countries, in these foreign lands.
Right. Right.
You got brothers in Ghana, you know. So the truth is spread out all over the place, and our people are waking up and knowing who they are. So by you know, you got only black Israelites saying that it's only just Negro only black only. When the scriptures clearly said that our people are scattered amongst the whole world.
That's right.
You know, that's it.
I just want to continue more on this one on Deuteronomy 4:30. When thou art in tribulation, and that's your trouble. Your tribulation goes back to when you were going through hell, going through a deep sense of trouble. When thou art in tribulation, and all these things are come upon thee, even in the latter days. What's the latter days? What does that mean when the Lord say talk about the latter days? It means the end time, in the end of days, in the last of days. So in Deuteronomy, the Lord was talking about the end time. Okay, so even in the latter days, if thou turn to the Lord thy power, Yahweh, and shall be obedient unto his voice, for the Lord thy power, Yahweh, is merciful power. He will not forsake thee, neither destroy thee, nor forget the covenant of thy fathers, which he swore unto them. All right. So the Lord is not going to forget what he promised unto Abraham's seed, all the way to the end times, to the latter days, to the last days on earth. He's still not going to forsake the covenant. With who? With the elect. That's why it goes back to elect, because the elect are the only ones that's going to come back and that's going to accept the scriptures for what it is. Mm-hmm. We're the only ones that's going to come back and believe in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Because the other Jakes, they 2/3, they only black Israelites, Esau is the Arabs. You know, they got all these mixing and matching. How you gonna get Esau as the Arab when the Arabs came out of Abraham? How you get Ishmael and take Ishmael and mix him in with Esau when Esau came out of Jacob, out of Isaac, the twin brother of Jacob? How you gonna mix two different births together? So one was born of bond, was born of the bond woman. Who that was Ishmael? He was born of a slave woman. Rachel was Rebecca wasn't a slave. She wasn't a slave unto Isaac. All right. Anyway, so
yeah, I got to say John 4:24. The Most High is the Spirit, and they shall worship Him. They shall worship Him. Must worship Him in spirit and in truth. So the words of the Most High God worship Him in spirit and truth.
That's right.
And the truth of the whole matter is that we have a whole nation of people. It's not only just Negroes.
That's right.
You have West Indians, yeah. All right, Latino Spanish speaking tribes. Yeah. You got brothers that's out there in China. Okay, they look straight Japanese, but their father can be an Israelite and get the promise because through the seed line of their father.
Yeah, that's right. Sure.
And that's worshiping the Most High in spirit and truth, because we can't just negate and saying, you know, what do you look like going out on the highways and edges with a 12 tribes chart and it all says Negro, Negro, Judah Negro, Benjamin Negro, Asher Negro, Issachar Negro. What the fuck? That don't even sound right. How can one nation be the same exact people for all 12 tribes? Right. You only need one tribe.
Right. What would be the purpose?
What would be the purpose to have 12? There'd be no point. You know?
Even in families, when you Jake and you have kids, your sons can look alike. Hey, but some of them have nappier hair than others. Sometimes you can have sons with curly hair. Sometimes it's that loose kinky hair. Or sometimes you can have them with that real tight kinky hair.
Especially dealing with different women.
Yeah, especially dealing with different, especially and all the 12 tribes came from different women.
Exactly. No,
Some of them were slave women.
And then most of our women were heathen nation women.
Hell, King David's grandmother was a Moabite. Exactly. Was Ruth, the Moabitess. Exactly. She was a Moabite.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have different.
And King David, that's why he said King David was ruddy.
Right. He was like he had that light.
He was lighter skin
with that red tone.
Yeah, he was lighter skin than most of the 2 called Jakes. But he still was a fucking Israelite.
He's still Israel. Well, nothing different about him being who he was. His father was still Jesse, or goes back to Jesse's line. Mm-hmm.
So basically, this video is based upon a life as a half so-called black and half Japanese girl, and she's all in Japan, and so this is stating that our people are scattered amongst the heathen, like the scripture said, most are scattered amongst the heathen in the countries,
Hey, and just on the point right quick, sorry, Slocky, why I said Jesse, but which Jesse was King David's father. All right, that just wanted that goes back to the line of Jesse all the way down to the line down through Solomon to Yahushua, and on down with who was Mary's Joseph. All right, but just wanted to clear that up, clarification.
先輩とか違う学年の人って話したことないから、第一印象だけで、やばい、怖いみたいな感じで言われちゃって、あいつやばいやつだみたいな。マイケルって呼ばれたんですよ。マイケルなんか、入学した年に、小学生の話なんですけど、なんかマイケル・ジャクソンが亡くなっちゃって、ニュースになって、それで、似てんじゃん、黒人じゃんみたいな。全然だって、知らない人が。And
just right quick, y'all gotta read the dialogue in it because they're talking in Japanese. But right quick, when you look over to the right of the screen, there's other being half Japanese. These 3 right here on top screen, the guy with he looked like he looked like Judah, but he have Japanese. Now he looked like Judah. And you got these other ones. You got these other ones. You got these other ones over here that look like the actual Japanese, but they Jake. All right, so they go back to Jake. They have Jake fathers. All right, and you go down, and just like when you talk about Naomi Omasaki, the tennis player, her father's a Benjamin from the tribe of Benjamin. And he and she understand to know who she is. She don't even. I don't think she even claims the Japanese part. She claims she says she's what they call herself again? What they call herself now? Rastafarians or whatever they call something like that. Yeah, but she claimed to be a Jamaican.
Which is right,
because of who her father does. You know what I'm saying? She claims that. But here now this girl, she claims to be Japanese.
Yeah, and it's sort of fact that we're trying to get rid of that black Israelite thing. You know what I'm saying? That's a heavy statement that's on us you know, as being Israelites, they
Black
call us
only.
black Israelites. You know what I'm
Black.
saying? Or they call us, you know, and we're not even black people. And nor when you look at the 12 tribes chart, it doesn't support only black people on it. There's more people than just Negroes, man. And like I said, this ain't all about Judah. It's about the whole nation. Okay? Because we need the whole nation to come back up together, man. And that's the problem with Jake, you know, because Jake got, for some reason, you know, Jake is racist toward his own people.
Hey, that's the hey, I should be evil towards your brother. You know, and that's Deuteronomy 28 chapter. And then another thing you think about, when you think about Shalmaneser, I think it was like Shalmaneser the fifth. When you think about Shalmaneser and Hoshea, the king of Israel, when he put the Israelites over into put them into captivity in Assyria, man, they had migrated, they had children with the Assyrian people, man. And they was, you know, doing what they was working their will onto the women. And you know, some Assyrian women ended up with Jake, because they was paying tribute unto him. All right, so you know, King Hoshea had Assyrian women, okay, and as well as he took his women and gave them onto Shalmaneser. All right, and then when they came over here to the Americas, so what happened to those people then? So what happened to those people in 2nd Ezra 13 chapter and 40? What happened to those people? Where did those people go? Who are those? Because there's somebody, there's somewhere. Oh, because matter of fact, let me pull out this scripture right here. All right, this is Ecclesiastes. This is Ecclesiastes. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 4. Yeah, come on, that's it right there. That's on there. Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 15. I consider all the living which walk under the sun. Okay. Okay, and if you don't know who wrote Ecclesiastes, the preacher wrote Ecclesiastes. You don't know who the preacher is. The preacher is Solomon. Okay, King Solomon, to be exact, said the right way. All right. So King Solomon says, "I consider all the living which walked under the sun." So he said all the people that was on the earth, right? Because this is under the sun, right? With the second child that shall stand up in his stead. There is no end of all the people, even of all that have been before them. There's no end to all the people, man. So the people don't end. Esau don't end. Ishmael don't end. Even there are people before them. The what we call Esau, the cave beast, the Neanderthal. They're still here. They're still the same people. Because of integration. Because of integrating with other nations and having sex with other people, it's changed the looks. But they still are who they are. You still go back to your original people. There's no end to all the people from them. You just said it. There is no end of all the people, even of all that have been before them. So there's no end of all the people on this earth, man. So we got to get over this bullshit. So where did the northern tribe go then? What happened to the northern tribe after Shalmaneser? Where did they go? Where did they send them to? So would they just fell off the face of the earth? No, there's no end to all the people, bro.
And another thing too, the dude who was talking to, he kept stating that Native Americans ain't Israelites, but it's the fact saying that 80% of Negroes have Native American can trace back to being Native.
Right.
So so just the thing about it is saying that those are the people of the Most High.
Right.
You know, because a lot of people like Negroes got Native American blood within them, even from their mother's side or their father's side, man. You know, because they're a part of the northern kingdom of Israel. Yep. They were the ones, and also when you were First Peter, they were the ones that Peter was talking to talking about dispersion, the ones that were scattered across the world. Because our people wasn't just in fucking in Judea.
Right.
Okay? Because the only ones that was in Judea was Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Right. The rest of the nation was scattered
from Shalmaneser. That's it. And so and them Samaritans, and it goes back and tell you in the Kings where it tell you about the Samaritans that Shalmaneser put different. He put the Babylonians. He took Babylonians and he took different people from that area and put them into the land of Samaria, into northern Israel. He put them in that land to convert them into Israelites after he expelled all the Israelites out of that land. There was no trace of the northern tribe in that land no more. But he put the fake the fake Israelites, the Philistines, he put them over in there. He tells you about the Canaanites he put over there. It tells you about he put different Shalmaneser put different people in over there in that land, man, to make people to confuse them and make people think that these were the Israelites, but they wasn't. The Israelites that were put over into the Americas, man. All right, I brought that out in the video last night, man. All right, so there's no end of all the people, so they were somewhere. And when you come over to the Americas, they have what you call the lost lunar stone. You talk about the lost lunar stone, it's the Lord's prayer, it's the 10 Commandments. It's the 10 Commandments that's on the stone. Okay? You talk about Hebrew block writing. That Edomite Glenn Beck brung that out about Hebrew block writing. Matter of fact, Salaki, bear with us. I'm gonna find a video. Bear with me one moment. Bear with me. Let me find a video where Glenn Beck talked about Hebrew block writing here in America. So there was a Hebrew speaking people. Okay, and the only Hebrew speaking people was from the east. Was back from Israel. Okay. Yep. There you go right here. Ancient Israelites in America. All right. Now I'm gonna play this other video about and even another one in Benjamin Franklin memoirs talk about talk about Europe. It was black and swarthy. That they were swarthy people. They were black people. And that's why they came over here to the Americas so they can do what? So they can have a place that they called their own. Huh? Here shows you. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Very true. All right, but Slakia, we're just going over some more information. But Slakia, but right here, I'm gonna play this quick snippet of a video. We're gonna go back to that Japanese Jake. Well, she thinks she's Japanese, but she's Jake. We're gonna go back to this video, but let me share my screen right quick. Huh? Yeah, but I don't want to put that video. Yeah. No, I do it. Yeah. I'll share that. I'll share that. All right. Okay, so let me go here. Give me a second. Bear with us. Bear with us. Bear with us. Bear with us. Shit. All right, come. This is where I can flip back there. Let me share my whole screen. All right. Now here, this is talks about. Let me play this video here about going back, talking about Hebrew block Hebrew right in America.
Is made up of 606 feet, 606 feet, 606 feet, 606 feet, 606. It's made up of staves, exactly the same. Now, if that's not interesting enough, look at the angle of the Great Pyramid of Giza. If you take the angle of the Great Pyramid of Giza, the slope is 51.8 degrees. Let's go back to the earthworks. If you measure the line that goes straight through the center of the structure, right here, and then you will go true north, it's 51.8 degrees. That angle is exactly the same angle as the pyramids of Giza. It is the same math, the same calculations as ancient Egyptians. Let me show you one more connection. In 1860, David Wyrick, he's a guy who surveyed the Newark earthworks. He was digging into a mound near those earthworks and he found a wooden coffin made of oak. They opened up the coffin and found a skeleton of a man holding a little box. It was about 8.10 inches in size. The box had been cemented shut here. This, by the way, is sitting in Ohio. Well, he opened up the box and he found a little man inside, a little black stone. They took it to scholars and they looked at it. The man seems to be carrying something, and there's writing here. At first, they couldn't recognize. The writing is, they thought in 1860, some sort of Hebrew. Well, finally, about 20 years later, they found some rabbis living in the area, and the rabbis looked at that, and they could read it. They said it was an old kind of block Hebrew, and it was a rendition of the Ten Commandments. Now, this is another piece. Block Hebrew, they said they'd never seen anything like it. Mainstream archaeologists at the time called this a hoax. But then in 1900, or just about after 1900, in Israel, they found the same block-style Hebrew writing. Mainstream archaeologists still dismissed the findings. They found it in Israel and they found it in Ohio. But there was another stone that they found.
Okay, did you hear that? That's the point. The point, they found block Hebrew writing in America, as well as they found the same writing in Israel. What the fuck? That's the correlation. What does that explain? That's before we was even here. That's before Jake was put into slavery here. That shit had been around. That was here in Ohio. It was ancient. It was old. Because why? They wrote in Hebrew when they were here. They were Israelite people. The Native Americans, the so-called Mexicans, they are Israelites. They are the lost 10 tribes of Israel. Yeah, that's heavy. Yeah.
They couldn't argue. This is the Bat Creek stone. It was found during the course of an official Smithsonian evacuation. The Smithsonian didn't understand the meaning of the writing on the stone. They thought it was Cherokee since it came from Cherokee country. They didn't realize that it's actually Hebrew. They had published this originally upside down. They threw it in a box at the bottom of the Smithsonian, put it in the basement. Many years later, a scholar took it out of the box, looked at it, going, oh my gosh, it's upside down. It's Phoenician, ancient Hebrew. So what's going on here? What is that about? Where is that history? I'll show you in a few minutes, and we're going to have a conversation. I'm going to show you some more things that this.
Hey man, hold on, bro. That's what can you say? What can you say, man? Also, so to all you black Hebrew Israelites, hey man, Esau taught on his fucking self. You know what I'm saying? Esau taught on his fucking self, man. Go ahead,
Yeah, because I mean, it explains for itself for what it is. It's saying that the nation of Israel are consist of the so-called Mexicans, Latinos, right, and Native and Seminole Indians. Those are our people. I don't know, and those are the 10, or those are the 10 tribes of Israel that have been scattered. All right, because for you niggas that believe that it's only just Negro only, you're not in the spirit of Yahweh Shemini Shai, and you know you're in darkness, man.
That's right.
You know, because those are your people.
That's right.
Those are your people, man. We are all the same people. We are all the nation of Israel.
Right.
All right. So for that Negro only thing, it doesn't make any damn sense, because our people have been scattered abroad the whole world, and you can find ancient artifacts that our people used to speak in the Hebrew language.
That's right.
Like Esau just brought out right in the newscast.
They like her.
Proving
Like, see Issachar.
proving that
No, see.
that the ancient Israelites in America are what? The North American Indians, the Seminole Indians.
Right.
You know, the Incas and the Mayas, the Aztecs,
Right.
the tribe, the Mayans.
That was Issachar.
Yeah, Issachar and Ephraim,
Yeah.
Puerto Ricans.
The Mayans is Issachar.
You know,
Yeah, Aztec is Ephraim.
so it's showing that who we are,
Yeah.
who we are according to the scriptures.
Yeah.
Like I said, you got niggas that want to believe their own thing and want to, you know what I'm saying, take what they want to believe.
Right.
You know, they want to try to debunk the truth and say that the 12 tribes chart ain't right. That we're giving our heritage unto heathens.
Right. But they giving their heritage up to Esau.
Yeah.
They want Esau. Man.
Yeah, exactly. And then nigga, you don't even know that it's possible that your father could be a native.
Right.
Because it's a lot of, when the war come back, we're gonna find out a lot of us that look like Judah. A lot of us gonna be Native Americans. We're gonna be a lot of us gonna be from the tribe of Gad and not even know it.
Or Seminole.
Especially up in Florida.
Yeah.
Up in Florida, you know.
Reuben.
Yeah, up in Florida, up in there, man.
Yeah.
That's where Reuben is at, up in Florida.
Yeah.
So a lot of us are going to be from, especially brothers up in Florida, that look like Negroes.
Seminoles.
A lot of you brothers probably Seminole, man.
Yeah.
Thinking that you're Judah, but a lot of us could be Gad,
Yep.
Simeon, Reuben. You know.
Issachar.
Yeah, and, you know, we could be, we don't know, but we know who the tribes are. Or we know the tribes
We know where they at.
and we know who they are, and we know
Know where
they
they at.
But for what? Because we can't go back and trace our old fathers.
Can't trace the lineage
We can't trace that shit, man.
because of slavery.
We only know we go off what we see right now. We look like Negroes, so we say we're from Judah.
So yeah.
We can be from the Northern Kingdom.
But
of
we
Israel.
know we Israel.
We know we're Israelites.
That's right. That's right. Hey, right here. Hey, this is Psalm 64 and 8. Right? Psalm 64 and 8. Oh no, this is Psalm 64 and 7. Nah, Psalm 64 and 6. Salaki. They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Hey, this motherfucker, he searched out iniquities of his own people. Hey, Glenn Beck did a search and they fired Glenn Beck's ass, man. He got fired after this shit. He did a 3-part series. They fired his ass, man. They got rid of that dude from Fox Network. Like, man, what the hell are you bringing out? You don't even hear about Glenn Beck. And he's always been against niggas, man. But hey, man, the Lord put it on this devil spirit, man, to pull this shit out. To pull the truth out about the northern tribe was over here in Israel, man, so brothers can go back and relate to it and bring this shit out. The so-called white man himself said this shit, man. Okay? Satan himself pulled it out. There was, over in Ohio, there was ancient writing found that was buried in the ground. They found it back in the 1900s that had been buried for centuries before the 1900s. you know? Shit. Come on, man. Wake the fuck up, bro. All right. So look, so right here, Psalm 64 say, let me go to 5 right quick. Now, I probably need to read the whole thing. But I'm going to go to 5, though. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. Okay. They commune of lying snares privately. They say, who shall see them? Hey, and that's why he said they threw it away. They put it in a box, threw it under the fucking museum, man. They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. Okay, the lie, the mind. But Yahweh shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. And really, they're getting shot at now because this is wounding all the nations, especially Esau. When we bring stuff out like this, see, when brothers come to the camp with that bullshit and we at the camp, it's hard to bring all of this information out at camp. But when you get home, you get that highways, y'all, you get back and you put down the videos, then you can get and you can sit and you can show, man. You can show what you trying to say out on the highways and byways, man. You can show it and prove it.
Yeah, because niggas want to talk over.
Yeah, they want to talk. Yeah, because you too busy trying to hush motherfuckers up, shut them up. You done forgot to get this scripture, you forgot to get that scripture. You done said you called for this scripture, that scripture. It never came. So, but it happens, but it's all right. But the point is, you come back and you start rocking, you do your business, you do your due diligence search, right? So it says, verse 7 says, but Yahweh shall shoot at them with an arrow, suddenly shall they be wounded. And this is a part of them getting wounded. All right. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. Right now, he's literally telling on his own people. He's telling on his own people that the people were here are not Indians, that they're Hebrew Israelites. The people that were here in this land when Esau came and took over this land were Hebrew Israelites. Okay? He literally told on his own people. That's why they fired Lambeck's ass. They got rid of him, man. They got him the fuck out of there, and he ain't never spoke of this again. He probably didn't even know why he did this shit to himself. But it's the spirit of the Lord, man. What's that? Proverbs 20 and 24. Man goes as of the Lord. How then can a man know his own way? It's the Lord that guideth our steps. All right, that's all. That's the whole earth. The deceived and the deceiver are his. It's the Lord. If you've been deceived, it's the Lord that has done it. And if you've been brought into the light, it's the Lord that did that. All right. So I'm gonna read that again. This is Psalm 64 and 8. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. And that's what's gonna happen, man. Because once these lies come to a head and everybody and the hell start hitting on this earth, matter of fact, America already running for Russia. They done turned their ships back out of the seas, which they're supposed to be trying to help Ukraine with Russia. They got scared. Now they done turning the ships back. Putin called them like they're being chickens. Like, I mean, hell, if you gonna fight. Don't be pussy. But Esau know that that's his end. Esau can feel his end is here. He don't want to really get into those fights. He's trying to find his way out of it, but he ain't gonna have no choice but to get into it because it's the Lord that's gonna draw his ass in. Because he's made an oath to the UN, to NATO. He has to join with them when they go to war. And France and Germany, they saying they're gonna have to deal with it. They're not afraid to go deal with Putin. And that's the beautiful thing, is that's gonna draw America in. So hey man, however the Lord doing it, man, Polo, how about Shemal Shah? So we can get the fuck out of here because we got all our people all fucked up, black only Israelites. You got proof in the pudding. Or who you are. The so-called white man literally told on himself. The Lord made his tongue fall upon his own self. All right. And that really was the point to that. So that really was the point to that. I can even go a little further in with it, but I don't want to, for the sake of time, I don't want to, you know what I mean? For the sake of time. I mean, that's the point. Anybody want to get it? Hey man, go look it up. It's called Ancient Israelites in America, Part 3. You see it right here. Ancient Math and Block Hebrew.
Really, you know what I'm saying? We can start the video right now.
Yeah, for real. I mean, because that's the point. We just made the point. The point was made. Black the fuck out. There's just people that was over here with Israelites, Hebrew Israelites. Okay, and in that book, use that book. There's a point. Even the point now for that. The hidden treasures. What hides beneath. Let's read a couple. Little quick hit out of it. Again, because it's
what is it?
The point was made. The point was made. Okay, I'm gonna go here. Moses. Let me start. Let's see. Oh, that's my one. Okay, here come. I'm gonna go here. I'll just stop on top. Moses, who was a Hebrew, led the Hebrew Israelites out of Egypt, which we all know, in the wilderness. Read Exodus chapter 3 to the end of Exodus chapter 14. At this point, Once the children of Israel were in the wilderness, they they started to sin against the Most High. The children of Israel were enslaved by the Muslims and the white Europeans also. So how you get Muslim, which go back to Ishmael, being Esau, being the Europeans, because we all know Muslims are not Europeans, so they can't be the so-called white man. Esau is a so-called European. He has to be a total different person than Muslim. It could have been Ishmael. Nah, anyway, these motherfuckers. Sorry. The children of Israel were enslaved by the Muslims and the white Europeans also. The European enslaved involvement in the slave trade to America lasted over 3 centuries. The Muslim Arab slave trade lasted 14 centuries and still exists in some parts of the world. 2 out of 3 Hebrew Israelite slaves brought to America was men used for agricultural work. 2 out of 3 women were enslaved and by the white Europeans and the Muslims for sexual exploitation, concubines. Okay? And what does that mean? They were sex slaves, man. So they had what? They had children with those women. So you had European, so-called Esau, so-called European women, European men having sex with Israelite women, making babies that looked like tares in the wheat. Okay? They were tares that looked like the wheat. Okay? All right. Harems and for military service. Slaves that were transported across the Atlantic, about 95% went to Central and South America, Portuguese, France, and Spain, and Spanish possessions. No, go ahead. Oh. The other 5% went to the United States, and that 5% consisted of the tribes of Judah, who are the so-called Negroes, and the tribe of Gad, who are the northern. Well, they're off there, but Gad was already here. That's no problem. But anyway, but on here, but see what I'm saying? They're gonna be off on something because Gad was already over here from Salmanasseh. 10 tribes already pushed over here. But the point is, Gad was here, right? Gad, who are the North American Indians. During the transatlantic slave trade, Europeans didn't have to venture into the jungle of Africa to capture the Hebrew Israelites because they were already sold into slavery by the African chief or by the Muslims slave trade at the coast. The transatlantic slave trade had three guilty partners: the African chiefs, the Muslim Arabs, and the so-called white men. There the fuck you go. So the Muslim and the Europeans, the so-called white man, is 2 different fucking people. One mother, and what Muslim is red anyway? Muslims are dark brown to a fucking light brown, like us. Esau is fucking pale and fucking red, from a dark red to a light fucking pink. One cannot be the other, and it's only one that controls the world. It's only one long arm of the law who's in everybody's country now, and that's the so-called white. Okay. All right, so that's it on that. That's the point. No, that was the point on that. You got something to say? Right. All right. We're gonna go back to this video. So we'll go back to this video here, and we're gonna play a little bit more of these scattered Israelites. Okay, whether it's by force, whether they're scattered by what do you call it? Migration, whether they're scattered by just people moving around, which is migration. Okay, but these are scattered Israelites that's been scattered in the 4 corners of the earth. Okay, all right. So let me get into this. Get back over here. You got to read this because they're speaking in their language, their native language, which is the so-called Japanese. All right.
おかしいでしょっていう、こっちが思うような反応とかを、対応とかをされたこととか、言われたことってありますか？夜、塾から帰ってて、塾に向かってから、言った 酔ったおじさんの人が自転車に乗って、急にこっちに来て、なんか、黒人はクソだみたいな。
Hey, that's a heavy part right there. She was on a bus. She was on a train, and a Japan, so-called a Japanese admin came up to her and said, "Hey, black people are shit." Okay, he was cussing her out. He swore at her because she had that dark skin tone. Well, she's really light skin tone, but to them, she's darker skin tone. All right, she don't have the big fat lips. She don't have the big ass nose. You know, she got small features. You know, she got a small mixed features. You know, the hair, you know, tells you something else is there. You know, but she an Israelite, right? Because her father is a so-called Negro from the Americas. So that makes you are what your father is. That makes you a Negro, a so-called Negro. Okay, really, it makes you an Israelite. All right, what it is, you are Yasha'Allah. Okay, a daughter of Zion.
やって、なんか、周りにも結構人いたんですけど、
She said there was many people around the
その人
subway.
たちも、
He kept shouting, "Be careful, black people," and nobody helped her.
すごい
They just kept staring at her.
周りの人もそれひどいです。
They were just staring at her and watching. Why? Because she didn't mean shit. Because to them she's shit. She's nothing. She don't mean shit to them because they know who she is. She come from the Israelites, man. She don't come from the Japanese. You're not what your mother is. All right. What's that? Numbers 1 and 18. You are who your father is. You are of the pedigree of your father. You are of the house of your father. You're not of the house of your mother. You might got her traits. You might look just like her. You might got her skin tone. But you are inwardly your father. Your spirit came from him. So you black only Israelites, you niggas gotta wake up. Matter of fact, you ain't gonna wake up because if you lost, hey man, if this gospel be hid, it is hid to those who are lost. And the God of this world who has blinded them, man. Whom the God of this world has blinded. You're blinded. And you've been blinded by your oppressor. You can't see who your oppressor is, you dumbass niggas. You being oppressed, your people getting killed by numbers in America. They putting their foot on your neck, choking you to death, shooting you to death, hanging you to death, still in America. And you still can't see who your fucking oppressor is. But he get off murder scot-free. Your little baby gets shot in the head while she sleep. Your little Jake, little daughter, little dark-skinned little girl.
You can even look at the incarceration for Negroes and Hispanics. You know,
through the roof.
It's through the roof. Even killings for Hispanics by police. The statistics even itself, you know, states that they are the people of the Most High. You know.
Look at Gag. You don't even see Gag. Go look up the Native Americans. Man, they got them on fucking encampment. What's it called? A FEMA camp. What the fuck you call that shit? I can't think of it. Reservations, man. And them, it's just like FEMA camps, man. And all they do is get drunk and get fucked up. And they live in fucking ghettos, man. They live in horrible, disgusting situations, man.
They was on drugs.
On drugs, alcohol, all fucked up, man. That's all people. They going through the same plight we go through in the fucking ghettos, man.
And you know, for you only black Israelites, have you ever, you know, talked to a Native American and asked about his struggles, or a Mexican or a Puerto Rican? You never talked to them. You never had a conversation when they even asked, bro, how do you feel being a Mexican in America? It's not too good, man. You know, gotta fight for my rights. He'll sound like you, but then you go and tell him that he's a heathen and that he ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? That he ain't the most high, he ain't the people of the most high. But nigga, he go through the same struggles like
Hey, what a guy called Esau when he get after he
the red man.
the red man, and he called him that, and he called him the devil.
And you know, you gotta be people of the most high when they got a soul day celebrating of killing you.
Right. I mean, they celebrate.
I mean, come the fuck on.
They got a pure day of
He's-
celebration
he's a-
killing guys.
Come on, nigga.
And them ain't your people.
That niggas is tripping.
それを言われたときは、ちょっとどのくらいのショックですか？なんかショックすぎて、なんか何の感情も出てこなくて、でお家に着いて、急にしんどくなって、友達に3時間くらい電話して、ずっと号泣して、それで、なんて。
Now, it's another part right here that show you that even the nations are spread amongst other nations. And it's not just you so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans spread amongst other nations. It's also these other nations has been spread among other nations as well. All right, because this chick right here standing next to her, she's a Pakistani. She's from, her father is from Pakistan. All right. So that nation is here. And I think they go back to Ishmael, if I'm not mistaken. The Pakistanis. Or they Elam or Ishmael. But the point is, they're here. There's another nation that look like so-called Japanese, but her father go back to being to the land of Pakistan.
All right.
You know? So all the nations is mixed amongst each other. They're mixing and mingling. So it's gonna be a bunch of fucking confusion. All right, right quick. This is Jeremiah 12 and 7. I have forsaken mine house. Nah, let me jump up. This is Jeremiah 12 and 5. If thou hast run with the footman, and thou have wearied thee, then how canst thou contend with horses? And if in the land of peace wherein thou trusted, thy weary thee, then how wilt thou do in the swelling of Jordan? Okay, so you went through this hell and trouble in your own land. What are you going to do when you got to go out into the midst of the nations? For even thy brethren and the house of thy father, even they have dealt treacherously with thee. Your own people dealing treacherously with you. And that's in our nation, man. We got some of them. Look at Rehoboam and Jeroboam, man. Rehoboam was treacherous with the northern tribe, and that's what caused the split in the first place. Hating against each other, man. Benjamin raping their own people, man. All right, man, our people always been awful to each other, man. Okay? For even thy brethren and the house of thy father, even they have dealt treacherously with thee. Yea, they have called a multitude after thee. Believe them not, though they seek fair words unto thee. I have forsaken mine house. I have left mine heritage. I have given the dearly beloved of my soul into the hand of her enemies, man. The Lord gave his people into the hand of the enemy. He said, fuck it, man, do what you want with them. I don't want to deal with their ass right now. They wicked. He gave us up to these fucking nations because of our wickedness, idolatry, whoremongering, murder. My heritage is unto me as a lion in the forest. It crieth out against me. Therefore have I hated it. The Lord hated his own people, man. My heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. I mean, you're gonna look like all kind of shit. You're gonna look like so-called Japanese, so-called Chinese. You're gonna look, Jake gonna look like Elam. Jake gonna look like Ishmael. Jake gonna look like Esau. Every nation on this earth, you so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, you're gonna look like Hamites. You're gonna look like all kind of shit. That's what a speckled bird is. It got all different kinds of spots on it. My heritage unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about are against her. And who's the birds round about the speckled birds? Them nation birds, man. They ain't got no speckles on them. Because the true Ammonite, who go back to Lot, who goes back of his brother was Moab, and Lot was their father, they look the same. And when they see a speckled bird coming, they know you don't belong. So they're against you, man. My heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about are against her. And who is the her? It's Israel. It's Yasharahla. Benjamin, Judah, Levi, all the way down to Issachar, man. Judah, Benjamin, Levi, down to Issachar. You've been put amongst your enemies. The Lord said, I gave you a way to the hand of the enemy, man. Because he hated your ass, man. Come ye assemble all the beasts of the field. Come to devour. The Lord called the men of the field beasts. He called the other nations beasts. So the Lord is putting them in likened to an animal. But now right here, you let a black only Israelite. Oh, so he had the animals to come and eat up the people. You dumb, spiritless nigga.
He understood 2/3 though. He said 2/3 of the time.
Wait, I get too hot, bro.
You know, I'm really got too much to say, man. You know.
I mean, we read the clear back just killed him.
You know, the video's really honestly done. You know,
Clear back killed him. You know. Clear back.
but just to get the point across.
Yeah, this now we just edification,
Yeah.
just edify.
Yeah, but we know what I'm saying. It's only for the elect.
Right.
It ain't for the whole nation.
Yeah.
And the whole nation, they gonna really understand the scriptures, man. When it comes to certain things, the most likely gonna put some of them locked on niggas.
That's right. That's right. All right. Let me see what was that. Oh, okay. All right. So, hey, man, let me see. So, hey, man, like the brother said, man, the point was made. I was gonna go to Romans 9, but hey, man, Romans chapter 11. But what's the point? Galatians. I was gonna go to Galatians. I was gonna bring that out about. What's the point, man? If you don't get it, man, you know what I'm saying. We got an arsenal to go to. You know what I'm saying. And if you don't get it, hey, man, we moving on. If you don't get it, hey, man, we just moving on. There ain't nothing else really to say to it. But hey, all you Israel, all you Latino tribes, all you Native American tribes, whether you're Seminole Indians or you're the Gadites, hey, man, you're Israelites, man. Okay, all the way from Ephraim on down to Issachar, man. All you in the North, South, Central America, you are all Israelites. Okay, you all were pushed over here from the king Shalmaneser. Okay, and y'all all ran over here to get away from the oppression, and the so-called white man came back and found y'all. So, hey, man. Hey, with that said, hey, we are YSO. I'm Yaquab. And we want to say, call Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash, double honor, Apostle Ellis, Great Millstone, Haroon, teach well. Hey, peace, salutation, all you occupied four corners of the earth. Hey, man, Bawaf Dawadad, that means rise, the house of David, rise. Kwam Yasharahla, rise Israel, Yasharahla, stand up, rise up, Shalom.